Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about two essential questions. What is the meaning of freedom, and what are the tools for establishing and preserving this freedom that we have today? So freedom by direct definition is the power or right to act, think, or say what you please without government hindering. Now, in the Bill of Rights, it states this more in depth, and it really goes into specificity of what freedom is. So in my two examples that I have for you today, you cannot see this in what happens to these people. So in my first example, the interesting narrative of Abdullah Aquino, this African-American slave is kept on this boat with no rights. He is unfed and he is not in very sanitary conditions, and it is really upsetting. It's a really upsetting novel to read, narrative to read, and it's important because if these things wouldn't have happened, then we wouldn't have established those rights. If these negative things wouldn't have happened to people, then these rights wouldn't have been established, and a lot of people would still be enslaved today. So it's one of those things that are very important to what goes on in today's society. So speaking of societies, actually, The Pedestrian is a short story about a man who is nonconformative. And this nonconformity is very important in the story because of the fact that this man who is different is taken away from his society. This violates his First Amendment right. And even though this story takes place in the future, the author is really trying to emphasize how important it is to exercise that First Amendment right, how important it is to really put emphasis on what freedom is. And the author is saying that if we don't exercise these rights, and if we don't think, say, or do as we please every day of our lives, then things will become a conformative society where we all are expected to do these certain things. Now, to conclude, the Bill of Rights really, in essence, gives us all of our rights today. It preserves all of those rights today. Some may argue that it's an old document and it is flawed, but really it has a lot of the things that we still need. And if we were ever to get rid of this Bill of Rights, then a lot of our freedoms and our choice would be taken away. And in the narrative, these slaves are stripped of their First Amendment rights. And this is really important because if slaves or slavery in general would not have happened, then a lot of these rights would have never had been established in the first place. And in The Pedestrian, it is really talking about how we need to preserve our rights, how we need to exercise that First Amendment, and how freedom today can be really important for freedom tomorrow. So, to answer those essential questions, the meaning of freedom is to exercise it, to really put into play what's going on. Like, really say what you mean and do what you say and all those important things. And to establish freedom is all the bad things that had happened. And to preserve it, we need to exercise it. So thanks for joining me today on our short little talk. See ya.